So we're continuing our hike through the spruce trees all around me, looking for signs that animals are actually here. And so sometimes we have to look at really small things. I'm going to look at the bottom of this spruce tree down on the snow, and you might see there's some white snow, but a lot of other things that maybe have fallen off the trees. What I'm going to be looking at is this tiny pile of part of a spruce cone. And you can tell there's lots of little clumps together. And then there's sort of this thing that looks like a corn cob. What animal would be leaving this little pile here? Well, if you've ever seen them work on something like an acorn or any leftover food, you might be able to tell that a squirrel was sitting somewhere up in this tree, and they were taking a spruce cone, such as this, and they were picking it off the tree or taking it out of their midden or trash pile that they'd stored all summer long. They're taking it and they're going, and they're not eating these petals. What they are eating is the tiny little seeds inside. And at the end, we have what's left of the spruce cone. And we can see these all throughout the forest as our red squirrel, which is very common, sits and is constantly looking around for predators. What's going to eat a red squirrel in the middle of winter? A lot of things. Possibly a coyote, possibly a great horned owl, possibly, if it's really hungry, even an ermine. So we're going to continue on. We're going to step off the trail here to get a look at some animal tracks. And you might be able to tell I've just fallen into the snow because I am not a small animal of the forest. But we are almost at the tracks that I want to look at. And again, they might be a little hard to see, so I'll try to get a little closer. But here are a series of tracks of an animal that was coming at me probably a couple days ago. And this animal has giant back feet and small little front feet. I want you to imagine this animal is hopping or bounding through the forest. And when it jumps, its back feet actually land in front of its front feet. And it continues on into the forest. And for those that have possibly studied Animals Alaska, you immediately can say, what animal would be staying on top of the snow with its giant feet? Almost like snowshoes. And you are correct, the snowshoe hare. Now, folks, we were just talking about our wonderful red squirrel, and I wanted to stop and show you some tracks. So squirrels also hop or kind of bound as they go through the forest. Their feet are pretty much the same size. So when we see tracks with 4 paw marks very close together, such as these, and they're all about the same size, that way we can tell that they are squirrel. And also it's important sometimes to look where they're going. And these tracks are kind of going, and then they disappear into a tree. And lucky for us, there's only one animal that can jump into a tree in our forest, and that is our wonderful red squirrel. So we just have seen a couple squirrels here in the trees, and they are all about getting some food at this time of the year. As I mentioned, there's not a lot of new plant growth or anything like that. But besides seeing them or hearing them, there are some really obvious ways to tell that squirrels are around. And we're going to look at another sign. We've already talked a little bit about it, but so this is the start of a midden or squirrel trash pile. You can tell that this squirrel over the last couple weeks has been sitting somewhere up in this tree, leaving all of these spruce petals, seeds, parts down on the ground. And once they find a good spot that they feel comfortable and that they're not going to get attacked or they can run away really easily, they will continue to use that all winter long. So I'm going to show you a couple others that the squirrels have been using because maybe they have an easy way out. So this squirrel has a nice little tunnel it can disappear into if it feels threatened. And it appears there have been a couple other squirrels in this area kind of hanging out, eating.